This summer at a library near you, the A to Z book talk of YA literature. The movie's about to start. Shh. For our A book, we chose The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. This is a classic book. It was translated from the Dutch diary of Anne Frank as she and her family were hiding for 2 years in the Netherlands. For B, we chose The Book Thief by Australian author Marcus Zusak. This book is narrated by Death, and it tells the story of a young girl, Lyselle, who learns how to read by stealing books. This novel also takes place during the Nazi occupation. C is for Beautiful Creatures, the manga by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll, the art by Cassandra Jean. In this manga version, it is done in crisp black and white manga pictures. Ethan Waite narrates his story as he is counting down the months till he can leave the small southern town of Gathen where he lives. However, his dreams tell us a different story, as his life is about to change upside down when beautiful Lena moves to town. She has a secret that will turn everybody's life upside down. D is for Divergent by Veronica Roth. This is a novel that's set in futuristic Chicago. It has been divided into 5 factions. Our protagonist, Beatrice Pryor, is about to take the aptitude test where she will decide where she'll end up. She's going to have to decide between her family and who she really is. She can't have both. E is for Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. Imagine being allergic to everything outside in the world and not being able to leave your house. This is the problem Madeline faces. She hasn't left her house in 17 years, until she looks out the window and she sees him. Ollie, a tall, lean boy that catches her eye. Madeline is certain she's going to fall in love, and she's certain it's going to be a disaster. Everything, everything.
F is for 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott, Mickey Daughtry, and Tobias Iconis. This book was published in 2018 and tells the love story of 2 teenagers with cystic fibrosis. However, due to their condition, they cannot be within 5 feet apart. What risk are they willing to take for their love? G is for Giver by Lois Lowry. This award-winning book won the John Newbery Medal. In what first appears to be a utopian society, Jonas is given the job of the receiver of memory, a person who knows all about history to help make decisions. Jonas is conflicted with his new knowledge and emotions of whether those decisions for equality and sameness are good or evil. H is for Hunger Games by Susan Collins. Katniss Everdeen is a teenager living in a post-apocalyptic nation of Pan Am. Leaders have decided to hold the annual Hunger Games, where children ages 12 to 18 are chosen to fight for the death. People watch the televised event and cheer for their favorites. When Katniss enters the games, she knows 2 things. Winning means fame and fortune, losing means certain death. I is for If I Stay by Gail Forman. 17-year-old Mia is the only survivor of the traffic accident that killed her parents and her brother. She is in a coma at the hospital and experiences an out-of-body experience. Mia struggles to fight for her life. After all, with her whole family gone, what does she have to live for? J is for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. This is a challenge book because the characters are wizards and witches and use magic. Losing his parents as a baby, Harry grew up with his horrible aunt and uncle. Harry was born a wizard, but never knew until strange things started happening near his 11th birthday. Harry attends Hogwarts, where he learns about who he is and embarks on several adventures with his new friends. K is for To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This is a challenge book because of its depiction of violence, offensive language, and racism. This is a story set in Alabama during the Great Depression and told by 6-year-old Scout. Her father is a lawyer appointed to defend Tom Robinson, a black man accused of raping a white woman. This story portrays the injustices of racism and how it affects an entire community.
L is for Looking for Alaska by John Green, award winner. Looking for Alaska is John Green's first novel, published in March 2005 by Dutton Juvenile. It won the 2006 Michael L. Prince Award from the American Library Association and led the association's list of most challenged books in 2015 due to profanity and sexual explicit scenes. Miles Halter leaves his home state of Florida to enroll in Culver Creek Preparatory School in Alabama. He's a shy, unpopular boy, but when he arrives at Culver Creek, he starts making friends. Find out what happens to the beautiful girl, Alaska, in this heart-wrenching novel. M is for Matched. It is our series book. Matched by Ellie Condi is the first novel in the Matched trilogy. The novel is a dystopian young adult novel about a futuristic, tightly government-controlled society in which young people are matched with their life partners at the age of 17. Matched couples are given a period of courtship and are then married when they turn 21. Will this matching system fracture, or will it continue to work? N is for Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist by Rachel Kahn. This he said, she said romance told by YA stars Rachel Kahn and David Levitan is a sexy, funny roller coaster of a story about one date over one very long night, with two teenagers both recovering from both broken hearts, who are just trying to figure out who they want to be and where the next great band is playing. A delightful read. O is for The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, famous author. The Outsiders is a coming-of-age novel by S.E. Hinton, first published in 1967 by Viking Press. Hinton was 15 when she started writing the novel, but did most of the work when she was 16 and a junior in high school. Hinton was 18 when the book was first published. The book details the conflict between two rival groups, or gangs, divided by their socio-economic status. The working class, the greasers, and the upper class, the socials. The story is told in first-person perspective by a teenage protagonist, Ponyboy, Curtis, a teenage member of a loose gang of greasers. What could go wrong? P is for The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, LGBTQ. The Perks of Being a Wallflower is a coming-of-age epistolary novel by American writer Stephen Chbosky, which was first published on February 1, 1999 by Pocket Books. Set in the early 1990s, the novel follows Charlie, an introverted teenager, through his freshman year of high school in a Pittsburgh suburb. Will he have a successful freshman school year? Read to find out.
Q is for Queen of the Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. It's a story about a girl named Selena who lost her right to the throne, and she comes back with a vengeance to rescue her glorious kingdom and confront the shadows of her past. R is for The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. It was written after 2015. It's about a time where the world was divided by blood. The Reds are the commoners, the Silverns are the elite who rule over the Red, and they have these super-like hero powers. And this young teenage girl finds herself working in the palace of the Silvers, and she ends up later on becoming engaged to one of the Silvers' prince and disrupts the balance. See if this story ends with a happy ending. S is for The Selection by Kiera Cass. Every girl's dream is to marry a prince. 35 girls get the opportunity to leave home. They have the opportunity in a competition to meet the prince of their dreams and live in luxury. Unfortunately for the young girl in this story, her name's America, winning this is actually a curse because she's already in love with another. T is for Twilight. It's a story about a young girl named Bella, and she falls in love with a vampire. She finds herself in the middle of a war between vampires and werewolves. T is also for team, so you choose your team. Team Jacob or Team Edward. U is for Bless Me Ultima. It's by Rodolfo Anaya, and it's about a young boy who has his grandmother come live with him. She's a curandera, which is like another name for witch, and she believes in all this black magic and spells, but he learns a lot of life lessons from her. One of the life lessons is, one of the last lessons she teaches is when she dies. He teaches him about death. He also, and during this, while the time she was alive, she teaches him about religion and also let him know who his father really was.
V is for Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. This is our LGBTQ book, and it is the story of a high school boy named Simon who is a closeted gay student, but is forced to come out after a blackmailer discovers his emails that he has written to another closeted classmate who he has fallen in love with. W is for Winter Girls by Laurie Halse Anderson. This book covers social issues. The story is about a girl named Leah Overbrook who suffers from anorexia and self-harm. She struggles to fight her illness while balancing everything else in her life. Months after a fallout with her friend Cassie, Leah receives news that Cassie has died from bulimia. After that, Leah's fight for her life becomes even more difficult. X Saves the World by Jeff Gordinier. This book also deals with social issues. In this book, Gordinier states that Generation X has what it takes to rescue American culture from a state of collapse. In this book, he states that over the past 20 years, the so-called slackers have irrevocably changed countless elements of our culture, from the way we watch movies, to the way we make sense of our cracked political process, to the way the whole world does business. Y. Monstrous by Marjorie M. Liu, Sana Takeda, Russ Wooton, and Yoshi Yoshitani. This is a graphic novel. This book is about the aftermath of a terrible war. Tensions still exist between the humans and the animal hybrids, the Arcanics, who are sold as slaves. Micah survived the war, but is looking for revenge. Micah must rely on herself and very few allies if she is to discover the secret of why her mother was murdered, and more importantly, who she is and what awful power she possesses. Z. The Lords of Salem by Rob Zombie. This is our famous author book. The story is about a woman named Heidi Hawthorne. She is a 37-year-old FM radio DJ and a recovering drug addict. Struggling with her newfound sobriety and creeping depression, Heidi suddenly receives an anonymous gift at the station, a mysteriously shaped wooden box branded with strange symbol. Inside the box is a promotional record for a band that identifies them only as the Lords. Read to find out what happens next.
Wow, that was a great book preview. I hope you all enjoyed watching it with us. Remember, this summer, before you see it, read it.